Alright, time to take another look at Bitcoin. We just had a pretty significant development right here. We got a move into, well, this area I was looking to long. We actually got another move into it. The first time I didn't take a long from here. I did end up taking a long right here, and I may get stopped out of it. I may not. These bull divs were a little too tempting to at least not put something on it. But right now, this long is more so a hedge against this Ethereum short that I'm in. Right now, this is a bigger position, and I am looking to add to this if I get further confirmations. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much started off just taking a simple SFP trade with the apparent bull divs that we are forming on some pretty significant time frames here. Just because we have bull divs right now doesn't mean we can't continue dumping lower and see momentum and money flow continue to the downside to eventually void those. But we did just take out a significant range low. I think there's a pretty good chance that we could get a bounce from here. I'm not liking the follow through so far, but at the very least, we may see at least a temporary bounce back into this range, even if we are meant to go lower. So just wanted to start off with, my current positions and what's happening right now in the moment. We may see me get stopped out of this trade. Right now, my stop loss is right about here, a little bit looser than this wick. And, really, a better stop loss may be just to cover this whole box, because the low end of this box is a significant area. It's the point of control of this range back here. So, moving my stop loss down may be a better choice, even though I will be taking on slightly more risk. But, I'll figure that out. And I do want to have an alert set kind of down here to let me know, just in case we do get a move to the downside as I'm talking here. So let's go over what has happened. So the last Bitcoin video I made was on the 19th. That was back here. And I did talk about some bearish signs that we were seeing. We saw divergences on some of the high time frames as we put in another higher high. We even had money flow divs on a lot of time frames. On the 4-hour, money flow did eventually go on to void those divergences, but clear momentum divs still. And on the 3-hour, the 2-hour, we still have clear money flow divs. Now money flow is actually starting to cross to the downside. On the 1-hour, money flow got into the red and now is starting to get a little move up. We even have a slight divergence at the moment, slight bullish one. On the 30-minute, yeah, we do have a divergence technically, but money flow is moving to the downside. And, I talked about how Bitcoin does like to ignore these divergences, and we did go on to put in some higher highs after putting in that original div from here to here. But we more so just ranged up here. We have not gotten a move to even this first area of resistance right here. And there isn't really too much that changed in terms of my plans. I mean, we kind of ranged above this area that I was looking to long. So, I think this idea, getting a bounce from this zone, could still work. Just because we have a range here, we did just SFP the range low. That could lead to a rotation. And all my other plans are still the same. I still think all of these are potentially valid ideas. So now let's get on to market cipher analysis. I'll do some more in-depth stuff. So what has happened since my last video is we actually closed a weekly candle. And we did confirm this green dot on the weekly. We actually saw momentum get a move above the zero line as well. So we did confirm a trigger wave right here. Doesn't mean that this can't immediately flop over, but that is definitely something of importance, especially on the weekly time frame. This is the first time we saw momentum below the zero line in the last 260, 70, 80 days roughly. Now, just because we have a green dot on the weekly doesn't mean we can't see some turbulence here. I think a retracement is still very possible, and we could retrace, get a significant bounce somewhere, still see a significant move to the upside later, and maybe we don't even end up like printing a red dot or seeing momentum fall back down below the zero line. A lot of price action can happen without really affecting the weekly time frame. Taking a look at the daily time frame, we do have a red dot on this momentum wave. This momentum wave has topped out for the moment. I was looking at the money flow the last time and said, this isn't really great follow through considering the bullish move that we got. It's kind of looking a little strange to me. And at the time, it was even seeing this little curve to the downside right here. It has gotten another move to the upside, but we see another downwards curve at the moment. And this time we see momentum topping out along with it. Now on the 4-hour time frame, like I said, money flow did see another move to the upside as price continued to put in higher highs. We still do have divergences from here to here. And now money flow is starting to get more of a significant turn to the downside. We actually put in a lower low. And momentum also put in a lower low. It just turned to the downside again, looking like it might try to continue this downtrend in momentum. Maybe this could be the lower high, and money flow is currently turning to the downside as we took out the range low. 3 hour, very similar story. We see momentum put in a lower low following the confirmation of these divergences. We did not void the money flow divs on the 3 hour, so it put in a lower high before a lower low, and it's continuing to move to the downside, getting pretty close to the 0 line. The 2 hour, same thing with momentum, but money flow has actually crossed into the red. But here on the 2 hour, we potentially start to see the bullish divergences pretty clearly. Momentum got a significant move to the upside following this little bounce. We just took out the range low. Momentum currently has the potential to put in a higher low. It has not bottomed out yet, and it does not look like it's very close to bottoming out, considering the white part of this momentum wave is widening, and the VWAP is not really close to crossing above the 0 line. Once that happens, we will print a green dot on the momentum wave. So this will most likely continue to move lower before it bottoms out, but it still definitely has potential to bottom out here. And just because the momentum wave is not close to bottoming out does not mean that price has not bottomed out necessarily. Especially on the high time frames, you can see price bottom out before the green dots on the momentum wave print. But I don't think it's looking like a very strong divergence, considering we do not see money flow divergence, and this potential momentum div is happening as money flow is crossing into the red. That's not a very good sign, which is kind of making me think that if we do get a bounce here, it's decently likely that it might just be a temporary one. Maybe we just kind of rotate to the high of this local range here, because money flow on these high time frames is still moving to the downside, and the daily momentum wave has just topped out. So this definitely has room to move to the downside if we're not able to hold this range first, and if we don't really see a aggressive move following this. Now, taking a look at the 1 hour, this is starting to look a little better for some bullish confirmations. We still have the momentum div potential, and we currently also have money flow div potential. Money flow could put in a higher low along with momentum, as price puts in a lower low with an SFP so far. I do see that price is kind of continuing to creep to the downside here, though, so in terms of follow-through following this SFP, at least right now, it's not looking great. We also see the double div potential on the 45-minute and the 30-minute as well, but currently, money flow is still moving to the downside on this time frame. Let's check the 15-minute. Money flow also turning to the downside. It is, still putting in a higher low as price is putting in a lower low, and it doesn't really look like we have momentum divs technically, at least not from this low specifically. From back here we do. Here, momentum is putting in a higher low as price putting in a lower low. It's kind of from a weird spot, though. It's not the best looking div when it's not from like the actual low that I'd like to see it at. Really either that low or that low. I'm not sure which one is lower. But, we are seeing bull div potential here. And, I decided to fire off a little 1% trade just because, this is a good spot to look for a bounce. It's a point of interest that I've had marked out for a while. We have a range here. We took out the range low. There's a pretty decent chance that this at least gives us some kind of bounce. Now, if this trade doesn't work, if we end up losing this box of interest, losing this previous range point of control, I think there's a pretty good likelihood that we start rotating down towards the value area low, the macro value area low. That would really be my next, key area of support. And then, of course, below that, I've had this box marked out down here for a while. But, really, if we lose the value area low, we could really see a pretty significant dump. This box could still work. Of course, I'm really looking for confirmations there. But, at this point, I think I'd really say I would like for price to hold the value area low. I think that'd be a better play rather than falling back down below it, because once we do that, any longs, really, I would have to target up to value area low, because who knows if we're going to break through it again or if we find resistance in that area before moving lower. And, I do still think there is reason to go to the upside. We still have untapped areas of significant resistance above us. And, we are kind of seeing what I was hoping to see from, or for this short trade, I should say. We have a range that formed right below it, meaning we could potentially SFP into it. That gives more of a local setup, or at least a separate context to trade this as. Whereas, if we just kind of pumped up there and immediately got to move into that resistance without this kind of context, I may not feel as good about shorting it. But if we SFP the range high into this area of resistance, reclaim the range, and if there's confirmations in this area, then that would make me feel a lot better about shorting it. Before I go, I will take a look at the lower time frames. We'll see how this idea is going. Looks like we're trying to get another bounce here. My question right now is, are we seeing anything that would make me feel good about holding this long trade still? And we still technically have not hit the golden pocket because this pull is pulling up to this high. We got it bounce. Looks like we actually front ran it with that wick, but it doesn't matter because we put in this high. Before that, the fib pull was different, so we front ran the golden pocket again. My question is, are we seeing anything in order flow that would give me confidence in holding this? And right now, you know, we did see some trades get stopped out. We saw CVD and OI take a tank there, showing that longs got stopped out on that wick. But we aren't really seeing a whole lot of shorts open up following this. I would feel better about this if I saw some trapped shorts, some bullish CVD absorption with CVD continuing to trend lower, but open interest moving to the upside, showing that shorts are opening. And we still could potentially see it if we get another move down to golden pocket. That is kind of a strategy that I've used for a while. Following significant SFPs, you get a retrace in the golden pocket, you see a bunch of people shorting it, and sometimes that can be, you know, really the best entry for these, especially when you pair them with market cipher divergences. That's a pretty good strategy that I've used for a long time, so we could potentially see that. But at the same time, you know, I would not complain if we just started bouncing from here and didn't really trap any shorts, because I'm kind of looking to de-risk this trade or put my stop loss to entry, just because I'm honestly not feeling great about this considering the higher time frames. They are honestly looking bearish, even if there's bull div potential. It is certainly a bit of a sketchy trade. And, you know, one more thing I will add to my plans here. I think if we start losing this range, like officially, if we start closing significantly below this range, especially losing this point of control, then I probably would be looking to short this if we get some kind of a retest. So I will, you know, be looking at the possibility of planning out some short trades. I can't say, you know, right now I see anything that sticks out. I'll have to see what happens. I don't even know if I'm going to be looking for shorts, but that is kind of another plan that I'm thinking right now. And I would probably be targeting down to value area low with that idea. And aside from that, I'm still, you know, just looking at the local context to trade. I will still look for scalp trades as well. And I think that's really about it. There's not much else to talk about. I just wanted to hop on and make a video since we just had this significant development here. And it's been a while since I talked about Bitcoin. You know, it was really pretty boring in this area. Not too much going on. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. All that helps to support the channel, and I appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one.